All right. So I'm here with Coach Adam Hall, new head coach of Utah Valley. How's it going tonight for you, Adam?
Great. I'm home, so that's a good thing.
Are you all moved down, or are you still kind of in that process?
I'm definitely in the process. I'll say that. I'm actually living with a family that was gracious enough to take me in. It's actually our athletic trainer's parents, and they have a really unique situation. So they have a big house and live a couple miles from campus, and they they've housed a number of coaches that are in transition. Actually, the baseball coach who I've gotten to know decently well, and he came out a couple months before his family got here, and it's kind of the same thing for me. My family won't be out here until June.
Okay, that's pretty cool. They have that kind of set up for you then.
Yeah.
So talked to new head coach at Utah Valley. Got a little different of a situation than we normally see, where we knew head coach Greg Williams was going to be his last season coming in, and then you got announced before, like during the regular season. So what kind of was that process like for you?
Um, it took a little bit, and our AD here, Jared Sumption, was pretty upfront about the process when we initially spoke in September. Um, he just said, "I've never been in this position before, where I had 6 to 7 months to figure out a position. Normally, it's um, 1 to 2 months, and you're drinking from a fire hose and trying to figure it out and make the right hire." And he's said, "I'm pretty fortunate to have the time to do the due diligence to find the right person."
Awesome. So what kind of brought you to Utah Valley specifically?
Um, the connections I have in the area, and I'm originally from Idaho, and I had a number of people approach me when Greg announced he was retiring and said, "Are you interested?" And every single person, I said, "Yes, I am very interested." So it just kind of transpired that way, where initially just had a conversation with the AD, and then fast forward a few months, and I interviewed with the university president, and then I was in person in February just to meet people involved with the search, and it happened pretty quickly.
That's awesome. So you mentioned the president. I know Utah Valley's president. She's a pretty big fan of wrestling. I think she's been pretty vocal about that. How was your interactions and talking to her?
Great. She is an unbelievable person. Just our AD is as well. They hustle, they work hard. I think they embody grit and just very much like university. And she has a very unique background. Came from basically nothing in the Philippines, made her way to the US, went to BYU and then Harvard and MIT, worked for Microsoft, and she is a mover and a shaker, and she loves wrestling. Just she loves gritty things, and it's really grown on her, and she's at almost every match with pom poms in hand. So I look forward to the first dual meet with her, the front row.
That's awesome. I watch all the Big 12 duels, and I've seen her on the streams. Like you said, most of the home duels she's there and pretty vocal, which is cool.
Yeah, she's a great supporter, as is our entire administration. I've been pretty fortunate to have a great supervisor in Clint Berge and like I said, our AD Jared Sumption.
That's awesome. So, um, spent a number since 2015 at NC State, right?
Yep.
So, and before that, Columbia. What kind of things do you feel like you are have taken from those schools and those experiences into this role?
My ability to recruit, number one. And I heard this from the old AD at NC State, Debbie Yao, and it was reiterated all the time from Pat Bopolizio, that you're only as good as the people you surround your program with, and that's a big thing in terms of recruiting donors, just building relationships with people. And I wouldn't say that most coaches or all coaches say they love recruiting, but it's vital to programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, speaking on like surrounding yourself with people, no announcements on assistants or anything like that yet. Do you kind of have that something in the works, something coming up?
Yeah, it's in the works. I have some. It's maybe public knowledge, it may not. There's several people that I'm targeting. There's one guy that I can already say is going to be involved on my staff. Andrew Hochstrasser was a former teammate of mine. Two-time All-American, national runner-up, national finalist in the U.S. Senior Open finalist. Um, he's a club coach locally, and he's before I even really approached him about it, he said, before you say anything, I'm in. So I was like, all right, I wanted you around here anyway. So he's going to be a tremendous asset. Just a Utah guy, has been in the club scene, is very well connected, and he's just a really, really good coach. And as my college coach would say, he's got fire in his belly, has a passion for coaching, and wants to take a step out of the club scene and into the college coaching room.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I was curious if you had um, any names already kind of lined up. So that's really cool. Um, so you kind of talked about originally being from that area, Idaho. Um, I think we've seen Idaho as a state kind of getting more national recognition, especially like at Fargo and whatnot. So, talking about recruiting, are those kind of states that a specific state or that area you're looking at too?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the communication that I had with our AD was, look, I want to create an environment where Idaho and Utah kids are choosing to come here, and it's not like a for lack of better terms, a fallback option or a second option for them. I want it to be their destination. Salt Lake City is a thriving place. In fact, our vice president, strategic planning, he's also a state rep. His name is Val Peterson. Very good at what he does, and he said Utah has the number one economy in the country and currently, and you can sense it, you can feel it, and I think it's a lot of connections and relationships. And my old college coach, Chris Owens, I mean, I was telling coaches 5 years ago, however long it's been, then when Chris Owens got the developmental coaching role in Idaho, that I said, just wait, just if you're not building a relationship with him and kids in the state, you're going to be behind. Because it wasn't a hotbed for us at NC State, being so far away, and having Pennsylvania, Ohio, a number of states in our area. But there were some kids that we went after, and I just know there's a lot more now because of the work that Chris Owens is doing. And particularly for the state of Utah, I think a lot of kids were leaving. I mean, you look at rosters around the country, it's Isaac Wilcox, Terrell Bearclaw, Lucas Cochran, Aiden Harris at Iowa. In the past, Owen Pence. I mean, you can go down the line. Brock Hardy. Did I say that already? If I
No,
didn't, Brock Hardy. So my goal is to keep as many kids local as possible. And I know it's about the fit, and not every kid is going to want to go to UVU, but I wanted to make it. I want to make it a destination for them, and a lot of kids that I've talked to have said I would love to stay closer to home if I can. And family's a big deal out here. In fact, Orem was named like Family City USA or something. So it's at least it's on the sign that I drive by almost every day. So
good selling point then. Um, so obviously recruiting super important and a big part of what you're doing right now. But the current roster, what's kind of been your interactions with those guys? I know some have graduated or moved on, but a number of guys kind of returning.
yeah, in terms of guys that are there and want to be there, It's a great group. I talked to a couple different head coaches, and they're like, you're not stepping into a bad situation, like something that I may have stepped into, and I don't take that for granted. I don't, because we hit the ground running. To be honest, it's like when I was at the national tournament, I had a couple coaches say like, "Oh, when are you starting out there?" And I said, "Next week." They kind of looked at me like, no, literally, my contract starts the day after the national tournament. So all I know is to get to work.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be done, and a lot of has been done, and I'm grateful for the time that I've had, and I hate to say it, like I miss my family dearly, but I'm working a long days, long days. I got a lot of work that I got to get done after we're done, and because it's just as of right now, it's just me, and I'm embracing that. I know I'm not looking left or right. It's just for the time being, it's a season of life, and so. But I was telling somebody today, like the analogy when you're pulling into a parking space, do you want to do the work now, like up front, or do you want to do it on the back end? Are you going to back in, or are you going to pull in, front way? It's just you do the work, and where do you want to do it? You want to set the foundation, right? So
So with everything that you're doing now, which sounds like you said, literally everything, are you doing recruiting, and are you looking in the portal too? Like just everything?
yeah, just keep naming things, and I'm probably doing it.
Yeah. That
Seeing
makes
donors, uh, going to clubs, bringing people on campus, going home when I can. Like home meaning like going back to Raleigh when I can, because like I said, my family won't be out here until June. Um, and being in the day to day with guys, and I told guys this. I said, I know as a head coach, there's going to be a lot of different roles that I'm now taking on, and I know a lot of coaches today are, for lack of better terms, like CEOs and fundraisers, and you know, there's NIL, a lot of different things to take on. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to lose sight of why I got into coaching, and that is coaching. And it's going to be at the forefront because naturally at heart, I'm a teacher and I want to help. And it's just what I know best.
It's awesome. I love that. So coming in to or when you first started hearing about Utah Valley and people talking to you about it, was it a school that you were super familiar with and or like keeping an eye on, or something you had in mind?
Um, yes and no. Greg had been here for a number of years, and I didn't really, it's never on my mind. Oh, like, is it going to be next year? Is it going to be 5 years? Is it going to be 20 years? I'm busy enough. Like I'm not out here speculating or gossiping or whatever. And to be honest, when it happened, that he announced he was retiring, I just kind of was like, oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. And yeah, I don't know. Things happen. Things happen for a reason. It just happened.
That's awesome. Um, so you're still getting your uh, getting things kind of together, but when you think about your expectations or where you see Utah Valley going ahead next year, 5 years, 10 years, what is do you kind of envision?
Uh, I have a coaching portfolio that I put together, and a number of people have seen it. In my vision, within 5 years, we're a top 15 and top 10 program, in 5 years. And I don't need a whole lot of people to believe it outside of our room and myself and our supporters. But look around the country. Look at what South Dakota State did. Look at what Little Rock did. In fact, Neil, I coached against him when he was at UNC. And we wrestled in college, and I built a relationship with him, and I'm still trying to build one with him. And he challenged me at the national tournament. He's like, 6 years ago, we didn't have a program, and it's taken 5 years to get to this point. I think you can do it faster. I was like, all right, like that's saying a lot because you built scratch, man, like complete scratch. And so, and it's encouraging. It's awesome to see what Damian Hans does. He's done a heck of a job, and I know, um, hats off to his assistants as well. But it really is the benchmark. It is. You look at, for lack of better terms, these mid-major programs that are not seeing themselves as mid-majors and are major players uh, in the team race. And I think that it's great for wrestling. I do, and I want that. I want to envision that for our program.
That's awesome. I love that. One other thing I kind of wanted to ask you about, it was a hard thing to look through historical, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty confident that you are the only current Asian American head coach in men's Division I wrestling. I looked through the list today, and unless I'm missing someone, then I'm pretty sure. My wife, she covers women's college wrestling for Intermat, and she made sure that I said men's Division I with Clarissa Chun at Iowa. But
right,
that's something I wanted to bring up. I'm half Korean, so I always love. I know wrestling is not there's not a ton of high profile Asian American athletes, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
It is cool. Yeah, I didn't know, and my brother told me, he's like, "You're actually the youngest Division I head coach as well." And I don't know about that. Maybe I don't know. There's a number of people who are pretty young and around my age. So, but my brother's kind of a stat nerd and a kind of wizard in that regard. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know about the Asian American head coach. That's men's coach. That's pretty cool.
So can you talk a little about, if at all, like coming from a smaller Idaho area, being in kind of a niche sport where you don't see a lot of that, how it feels to kind of be one of the leaders amongst that group in wrestling?
Yeah, there's a lot of credit that I need to give. Thinking back to a lot of things, um, I had supportive parents I had a lot of opportunities to get outside of my hometown. I had a lot of opportunities to grow through various camps and opportunities. Um, and I had some people that really just poured into me and wouldn't let me, as tenacious as I am, and as lively and energetic I am, and passion that I bring. There were definitely dark times, and at one point that I can credit a couple people, my high school coach and Chris Owens, to keeping me in the sport because I wanted to get out at a certain point. And just tenacity and the draw of coaching and wrestling. I think it's pretty hard for some people to leave it. It's just in part of your it's become part of your DNA. And yeah, I just have a lot of people to thank that have gotten me along the way, including Carl Fraunhofer, who gave me the opportunity at Columbia, and Pat Papalizzi, who gave me the opportunity at NC State, and now Jared Sumption and Clint Berge for doing the same, and President Astrid Tumanes for just believing in me and the vision that I have.
Love it. Love it. Well, I want to, I know you're busy, so don't want to take up too much of your time, but do you have anything to fans, Utah Valley, Big 12 wrestling fans in general, any sort of message you want to leave them?
There may not be a ton that's out there right now, but just know that there's a lot behind the scenes that's going on, and a lot of work that's being done, and a lot of people are excited about what's going on, and it's a lot of it's local, some of it's regional. Um, but I say, if I haven't gotten back to you, I will, and um, I'm just excited for the people of Utah, and especially, but people of the West, to just have a program that they'll get excited about. I'll just say that it's gonna be a new look for the program this year and for years to come.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, Coach. Thanks for coming on. Good luck with everything that you got going on, and I doubt that this will be the last time that we talk and go over things. So, thanks for coming on tonight.
Absolutely, James. I appreciate you having me on.
Not a problem.